Speaker, that I do stand in support of this bill. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Call in Lees-Galloway.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just intend to take a short call to reiterate Labour's support for the Arms military-style semi-automatic firearms and import controls amendment bill. Essentially what this bill sets out to achieve is to make the job of the police a little easier in terms of definitions of the weapons that they may find they are dealing with in their day-to-day jobs. And of course, the genesis of this legislation came from the decision made by Justice Mellon in the High Court in Palmerston North, which police contend made it more difficult for them to define which firearms are military-style semi-automatic weapons. And I know, as many colleagues will have done the same, spent some time out on the beat with the police, and for those colleagues who haven't had that experience yet, I wholeheartedly encourage you to undertake it. That the police, what makes the job of the police easier is clear definitions in terms of their role, in terms of what they can and can't do, in terms of what the public can and cannot do, so that they have very clear parameters about how to enforce the law. And that, I think, is essentially what this bill is about, ensuring that the police have simple and clear parameters around the military-style weapons that they may encounter when carrying out their jobs. I understand that in this case and in many cases, some people may feel that in some way affects their civil liberties, affects their rights to do whatever they will. But that is the balance, that is the natural balance that we have in a democracy between people's civil liberties and the community's right to be able to ensure that people are safe and that we give the police the tools to be able to carry out their role as best they can. And that, I suppose, is why I I have very significant concerns about the minority report offered by the ACT Party. I think it is so far out of touch with where New Zealand is at. I must admit, I probably would have completely missed it had Jamie Lee Ross not referred to it in a slightly obscure fashion by not naming the party attached to it. But this is old-fashioned United States Second Amendment right to bear arms stuff that, as my colleague Phil Goff pointed out, has demonstrably failed in the United States. The Second Amendment came about in 1791, and frankly that's where it belongs, many centuries ago. And it is not, I think, an attitude or an approach to law and order which is relevant today or which should be tolerated in a country like New Zealand today. I will be interested to see how the current member for the ACT Party, John Banks, will vote on this. I don't think that this is the type of that minority report is the type of view that he would support personally, and I hope that perhaps with his influence in the House, the ACT Party's view may change. Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party does support this bill. It is a significant step in ensuring the good rule of law in our community and the safety of our community, and for that reason we are more than happy to support it.
Call Louise Upston.